tell us who you are and what it is you do.
Okay, so my name's Richard. I'm the owner of Upcurve Personal Training, showing you how to live longer and live better. And I've been coaching clients for just over 20 years now. Generally, I help people lose weight, improve their health, improve their performance, and that's what I do.
And I love what you do, and you were my personal trainer for a while.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
yes, that was great.
Through injury and also like divorce. Not that you're a divorce expert or anything,
I'm certainly not, no.
but you were certainly like emotionally supportive to me on the journey to my physical
Absolutely.
health. So I'll always appreciate you for that.
You're welcome.
So today you want to tell us a little bit about your story and that side of things. So what's the message that you want to get out to the listeners today?
Okay, so for the viewers today, I mean, if you're worried about ill health as you get older, you're worried about the onset of disease, I mean, dare I say things like cancer, things like autoimmune diseases, et cetera, et cetera. My message today is that you can actually do something about it. I think a lot of people sit in silence thinking, not am I going to just die, but I'm going to die. Before I die, I'm going to grow old and I'm going to become decrepit. I'm going to lose my faculties. I'm going to lose my physical strength and performance, and I'm just not going to be able to enjoy life as much as, say, I do now. I think many people have these sort of fears and don't necessarily talk about them.
For sure.
And secondly, don't actually feel empowered to do anything about it. There's a big knowledge gap and there's a big skill gap and a communication gap between people in terms of trying to make that happen. So today I want to try and maybe sow the seed for some people and plant the awareness that you can do something about it, and there are actually real everyday things you can start to do now that can reduce your risk for disease and help ensure that you can function to your best into old age and enjoy that.
And so there is some information out there, whether it's the right information or we're in the information age, right? So around healthy eating or stress, there's lots out there about things that we can do, but we don't necessarily do them. We get into this reactive stage of just work or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Why do you think we don't do the stuff that we know or that we don't know?
Well, I think there's many factors, many factors. I think there's cultural factors. We're very addicted to things like sugar, as we know, alcohol, sugar. Yeah. Okay, so this happens. There's natural things culturally that stand in the way of changing habits. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's things like misinformation. Obviously, tabloids tend to explode things. We can get very over hopeful about things because of misinformation, but also over fearful about things because of misinformation. So I think there's a media problem in terms of people turn to the media for knowledge and understanding about what they can do and what's available to them. So I think there's a number of different things, and I think education as well. The educational system isn't necessary, in my opinion, perfectly built to create happy, healthy people. It's created to create functional people that have a good purpose in life from a sort of work ethic point of view. So,
and who are consumers who just want to make money so they can spend money on stuff, right?
Yeah. So answering your question, there's a number of things that stand in the way. And hopefully, some of the advice I can give and some of my experience can help people make better decisions.
And so I know that you have so much experience and so much knowledge, some of which you've shared with me, but why this message? Why is it important to you? Why do you want to get this out in the world?
Yes. So, I've always been interested in health, helping people get better, function better, perform better. I had an experience just about a year ago, Petra, and okay. So I want to really get this message across. Obviously, difficult things to talk about when tough stuff comes into your life. But about a year ago, I went on what is called a cancer pathway. And basically, after some routine tests, because of some low-level illness I had, a physical infection, I had a scan done of my liver. They discovered a big patch on it, and they had to figure out what that was. So I went on this thing called a cancer pathway, where very quickly, in about a 2-week period, they have to diagnose and eliminate the risk of cancer. So I went through some tests, and very quickly, was facing the prospect that I would have liver cancer. And if anybody's aware, any of you is aware, liver cancer doesn't have a great survival rate. And at that time, all I was really thinking about are the things I would leave behind. Family, my kids, my partner, my missions in life. Not being able to help people anymore. Not being able to love the people around me anymore, not be able to enjoy life anymore. Those became very real threats in a very short space of time. And one of the key things that happened to me is that very quickly I had to decide, was I going to fight this if I was diagnosed with liver cancer? Or was I going to just kind of be what I call kind of philosophical about it, pragmatic, and just accept it and kind of go with the kind of life and death cycle of things and kind of just be at peace with it? I did decide to fight it, and that kind of led me on a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these thoughts are going through your mind of what's important, what could I lose? And interestingly, it's usually not stuff, is it? It's people, it's connections, it's mission, it's purpose, which is just a great point for the viewers in the first place about like what matters when you're in that situation, the sort of gratitude for things that matter. And you're making it sound like it was like, oh, I have two choices and I'm gonna go on this journey, as if it, but like, how dark did it get? Like, where did it take you?
It got really dark because, even trying to decide which way to go, one day I'd feel one way and another day I'd feel another way, and when I finally hit on the direction, it didn't necessarily make things easy. I mean, I decided in the end that if I was going to be diagnosed with liver cancer, I was going to fight it. But then, who am I? I'm this like little guy facing a whole history of medical knowledge that says that you die within 5 years of being diagnosed with liver cancer. There's not much you can really do about that. It's that maybe extend into that period and not be months or weeks, but up to 5 years, and maybe improve your life a little bit during that time. So thinking to myself that, well, I'm going to give myself the best chance of surviving seemed like a slim possibility, but I was prepared to give it my all, and that's what I did in terms of the place I went into, in preparation for that.
So what's changed for you? Tell us about this journey that you've been on that is obviously inspiring you to teach other people how to do similar things.
Well, obviously I don't want to go into too much depth because there's only so much that can be said in such a short space of time as this. But in kind of what I feel like was equipping myself with the right level of knowledge, and bear in mind I've already had 20 years of nutritional knowledge and exercise knowledge and meditation and well-being and all kinds of other stuff coming into the mix already. I felt I needed to touch on a deeper level of health and personal performance if I was going to beat this, so I couldn't just perform well. I had to go beyond thriving, basically, in this new approach. So I did a lot of research, and there's a big industry developing in the whole world of aging and anti-aging and age reversal and all this sort of stuff. And there's a lot of real things there that people can use now in terms of knowledge in order to increase their health and performance and their health span into old age. And there's quite a lot of stuff there also that isn't necessarily
it's like gimmicky, and
it's a little bit more gimmicky, and it's a little bit more what's that term when some snake oil, it's a little bit more like that. So I had to filter through all of that and really look at what were the nutritional things I could do, what were the exercise things I could do, what were the spiritual things I could do, the psychological things I could do, the whole picture, really, all the things I could do to give my system, my biology and my humanology the best chance to survive this.
So what was it like for you at that time when you're on this cancer pathway and you're just going, shit, I could lose everything? Like, where did your mind go?
Well, the first thing that sort of came to my mind in terms of things I'd leave behind with my kids, and I've always been very connected with my children, very much a family man. They're obviously always been very important to me, but in this kind of scenario, you can imagine everything gets amplified. And it was a very, very dark time. I've had a few dark times in my life, but this was not just dark, it was scary. It was petrifying. I mean, you know, just imagine standing on the edge of a cliff and you got no choice, you're going to fall, and all you can see is oblivion at the bottom. Most terrifying sense.
You're out of control.
Out of control. And then the only things I could really think about doing was, what would I leave behind for my kids, you know? And
what's your legacy?
Yeah, what was my legacy? And you know, I just thought of all the things I wanted to say to my kids, leave behind for them, you know, things I'd record for them that they could watch later, messages and stuff, you know. I went through all of that. But yeah, it was a very, very dark time. And to be honest with you, the only thing that relieved that sense of darkness was just to enhance the connection I had already. And even in that short period of time, you know, I'd sit there looking at my kids and just be like taking time to watch them for longer than usual, you know? Yeah, so just all the little things, you know, you just spend a little bit more time taking those things in, smells, textures, sounds, sights, things I've always valued, but you know, when you go to that place, you think you actually are going to lose them. Wherever you are, however much you value them, that value gets amplified, you know, Yeah. So,
I mean,
yeah.
I have kids myself, so.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is the magic of like fully being present.
Yeah.
Fully noticing.
Absolutely.
Who's in front of you, the textures, the smells, like all the amazing stuff in life that we tend to pass by.
Yeah. And the beauty of it is that although on the one hand, you know, there's this side of me that wants to help people reach a new level of performance and health in their lives to extend that into old age. There's another side of me that was, like I said, amplified and woken up even more, given a new breath of life, which is just the appreciation of small things, even more than that. And I'm happy to say it stayed with me. You know, I still continue to breathe in smells deeper than I used to take in visual beauty and wonder at that much more of a deeper level, and think about things longer and pause for longer on things, you know, rather than get caught up in a rush of life, you know, just kind of take time to stand still and really appreciate things. And it's I probably found more peace at this time in my life than any other time in my life, just because of that 2 weeks of fear.
Total fear.
Yeah, total fear.
Facing your worst fears, bang in the face, and going, what are my choices here? Or are there any choices here?
Absolutely.
And so you've come across a path where you're not on the cancer pathway anymore, or you've changed your lifestyle and you don't know, or what are you left with?
It was, you know, this was just the end of summer last year. I finally got, after 2 weeks, I got the report back from the head nurse for the cancer section in the hospital I was at, and she said, you know, you're clear, it's not cancer. Went in, had a chat.
What was that day like?
What was that afternoon like? It was the craziest, because I was supposed to get a call and I missed the call. And then, you know, it was that one moment where you decide to go make a cup of tea. You're standing by the phone, you think, okay, I'm going to make a cup of tea now. It's been 3 hours. And then you go, that's when you get the call. So I got the call, and then I was trying to call back and I couldn't get through. And it was like, I was shaking, like, can I just get through to her? When she finally called back, I found a quiet space in the room by myself. And I mean, that was one of the most trepidatious, fearful, intense moments in my life. Choose the most tense exam, relationship breakup, work interview. Nothing tops that moment. It was intense, honestly, Petra. And then to come out the other side of it, just to go, wow, oh my God, I am going to live. You know, what am I going to do with this now? And so at that point, I'd already started putting in new habits, you see.
Sure.
I'd already started changing my life.
Desperation.
I'd already started thinking, well, if I'm going to get diagnosed as positive for liver cancer, I don't want to just then start changing stuff. No. I want to already have got my head around stuff. And I really had made some major change. I mean, I thought I was healthy before. Yeah. And I was, technically, based upon everything I understand about health and nutrition and fitness. But I took things to a completely new level. You know, those things have stayed with me now. And so now, I'm drawing on all of that knowledge and experience and obviously this emotional curve that I'm on, and hopefully want to motivate other people and inform other people of like-mindedness as to the things they can start doing now.
So I love that. There's almost this illusion of health sometimes when we think, oh, I do my like yoga session, or I do my this, and you're talking about much deeper psychological, spiritual, physical, like the whole package. So what can our viewers do now? What can they do at this moment with this information?
There's simple things they can. They can visit my Facebook page where I'm posting everyday free stuff that talks about all of this stuff. 3-4 times a week, so they can access me there. They can message me. I'll put the link at the bottom of the video. So that's going to be the easiest way to access the kind of information that I'm wanting to share. There is a program that I'm developing, which is a Live Longer, Live Better program. And it's all focusing on all the new habits that I've put into place based upon the scientific research I've done and all the stuff I've gleaned from this journey. And that's going to be available to people in the coming weeks. So that'll be something. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see it arrive right there and then. But let's say you want to know right now.
Yeah, what's the first steps like?
One of the very first steps is to own your health. Be a champion of your health. You've really got to sit down and go, okay, I want to own this and make a difference to my health. The trouble is that if that motivational spark isn't there from the start, you're going to maybe read something a little bit and get fed up, or you're going to try something for a short while and just get it fed up, or you're going to listen to a bit of advice and it's going to feel a little bit good and then give up. But you really got to start with that motivational, I really want to do something.
Own your health. Like really
own
hear
your health.
that.
Be the champion.
Take responsibility
for your health. And then the next step is just to simply look at all the key areas of your life. What you eat, okay, what you drink, what you physically do with your life, how you think, and how you behave. And probably last one, just the environment you take yourself in. Okay, examine all of those from the point of view as I want to live better. And I think if you ask that honest question to yourself, I think anybody says to themselves, I want to live better, but I'm going to look at these several areas of my life and say to myself, are these things helping me to live better? Okay, most people will come away with an honesty answer for themselves, and then it's just up to you. That combined with you championing your health, only you can decide if you're ready to make life changes. And then come and visit me on Facebook, and I'll help you as well.
I'm gonna be there. I so needed to hear this today.